Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even, how do I start? How do I begin today's podcast? First of all, I just want you to know it was fucking shit getting here. There was a train derailment. The city is fucking shit and crap and shit. And I left early so I could be here for our very special guest. And yet I got fucking screwed over by the MTA. And Leonard, how did you get here so soon?
I don't know. I just got on the one, got right here.
Good. Well, I went to 72nd, and then I was switching for the one, and then the one came and said, "We're not stopping in local stops."
You know, the people listening in Montana don't give a shit.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't recognize that voice, then you live in a fucking cave. The one and only, the amazing, the original.
Stop my leg.
Stop. Robert Klein!
Thanks so much.
Yay, Robert Klein! Woo! This is like a major. This is major, Mr. Klein.
So
Where's
many
that
things
Jubel?
happen.
Yeah. Robert Klein.
Why is it I had a car and driver?
Why is it? You're Robert Klein.
I love that explanation. Front.
No, this is the Jubel, and anytime anything remotely Jewish is mentioned, there it goes.
You have a Jubel?
Yeah. So Robert, that's Allie Klein, Robert Klein's son.
Hello. Thanks for
But
having
wait,
me.
do you identify as a Jew? Was
Half Jewish. When I'm telling jokes about Jews, yes.
Okay, so here we go.
That's a good answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's fantastic. I can
Wait,
say
I'm
we
trying.
if I say...
Okay, there we go. All right. I know. You sing that so scarily well.
Hit that bell again. That's a...
That.
Remember that one from 1312?
Yeah,
Dick
I
Clark
love-
was there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good night, folks. Anyway, Robert Klein. I can't fucking believe you're here. I can't fucking believe
Can't you
it.
say one sentence without fucking
No,
it?
I can't.
I like it.
He likes it clean, Judy.
my son
Have you not
is-
learned
Since
it?
when did you? Since when?
When I think of the arguments I had to have, or not really
Without
arguments,
using the word fuck?
in the Tonight Show, in the
Right.
halls of NBC with Freddie DeCordova calling legal at NBC. Can he say poop? Can he say breasts? Can he, and you kids today with Lenny Bruce's sacrifice. What am I talking about?
Different age.
Robert. Robert, we have some young listeners.
Yes.
Just letting you know, but most are probably menopausal women and gay men. So, and lesbies, lesbies. But anyway, Robert Klein is definitely a legend. Robert Klein. Well, let's start with your life. Now, you were born in the Bronx.
I was.
And you grew up in the Bronx in the 50s.
I did.
That's so West Side Story of you.
I know, with Frida
I'm
and
75.
Benjamin.
I was born February 8th, 1942.
Yes.
At a very perilous time in world history. People are always saying, oh my God, the world is in such sad shape. Know your history. In 42, February, we had just been bombed at Pearl Harbor, declared war on by the Germans. The Japanese had all of Asia. The Germans had all of Europe. And we weren't dealing with 10th century filthy morons who do have explosives and cell phones.
Yes.
So they were perilous times.
That makes no sense that they have cell phones. Like, they should be like the Amish. If you're going to live under the rules of that period of time, then you can't have fucking electricity. You can't. And first of all, Israel invented the technology for the cell phone, so fuck you. Thank you very much.
They're
Metro PCS. That's how they get away with it. Metro PCS.
Oh.
there is
That was Allie Klein.
there is There is
Lenny
definitely.
Marcus is here. Go ahead.
We're going to give Lenny in about an hour.
Lenny, I have here because Lenny loves you.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, and Lenny's a great
you.
guy, and he's tan. And
Yeah, I was on vacation.
Great. Lenny just recently married Gina, non-Jew.
Congratulations.
You got married late?
Yes.
A comedian.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say to him.
That's fine.
Are we starting the show?
Yeah, we already started the show.
Oh, aren't you gonna do the intro?
I did. I said,
You mean to say I have to remember everything I said and
what
do
are
it
you
again?
talking about?
You're not welcome. You're not gonna welcome
Well, I did.
He did,
Shut the
Robert.
fuck.
VP.
VP, voice probation. Leonard Marcus is here.
Hello.
Patrick is here to make sure that we don't sing anything more than 3 notes. Hennessy's here. Allie Klein, Robert.
Oh, you can't sing
Klein.
because you'd have to pay, you mean?
Oh my God!
yeah.
Listen to this,
Oh, I know
Robert.
that.
We
Yeah,
had Shelley Wright, who was a country western singer,
Yeah.
came in here, and to end the show, but look at Patrick getting so pissed off. She sang one of her songs from her new album, and then she's listening to the podcast, and the song's gone.
What happened?
Patrick's afraid. He's
the one-
afraid.
I know Patrick's
I know
problem.
they did put it back in. They did put it back in. But Patrick goes by the rules. Like, I don't follow any rules. Do you follow rules?
I have to, I guess. For HBO specials, for example, I wanted to do a bit involving when Allie was a little boy.
Right.
And when I was a little boy and my father heard Little Richard, I won't sing, Patrick, right?
No, you can.
Really?
Yes.
Wah, ba, ba, loo, ba, ba, la, bam. I mean, we came out of on a day like with getting under a chair
Right.
for nuclear holocaust. It was an interesting contrast. Eisenhower America was bland and boring, except for the first time could be roasted in any
Right.
second. And then years later, I look at my little 11-year-old boy, Allie, and he's
So cute.
he's looking at the Chili Peppers thing. What I got, you gotta give it to your mother. What I said, I didn't want to be uncool like my father. I said,
Right.
because my father thought, what is that, a code word with you kids? Tutti frutti? What kind of code word?
That Benjamin said that.
I said, yes. It's a code word. Allie, tutti frutti. Henry, tutti frutti. Billy, tutti frutti. Can your parents asleep while they're asleep at night? Teenage signal. And later on, I said to him, what is this? Give it away. Give it away to who? Anyway,
So who was?
So the Chili Peppers wanted, you ready, Patrick? About $20,000 for 4 bars.
No fucking way.
They couldn't use it in the documentary
That's
about
great.
me. They couldn't use it. No.
Whoa.
All right, with
Foul. Sorry, that's foul.
Okay, so
What?
Frida
What?
and shut up.
Just respond to things.
Yeah, I just talking too much.
Yeah.
Leonard, you can talk too.
I'm
Listen.
listening. I'm
Okay,
ready.
so Frida and Benjamin.
Yes.
Benjamin was the funny one.
Benny was hilarious. He was a textile salesman in the
Right.
garment center, but he was a true improviser and clown. I'd ask, Daddy, who made the dial on that radio? Hiram Fitzmagic. He's from Pittsburgh, and he worked in that factory. And he would go on and on. And
Right,
then
make
he,
up crap.
And
That's hilarious.
he'd make up little songs. And my mother was a savant in more ways than one on the piano, and also became the secretary at Montefiore Hospital to one of the world's most famous neurosurgeons, Leo Davidoff. Remember the book we all read in high school, Death Be Not Proud?
Yes.
He was the surgeon. My mother had an
Wow.
8th grade education. She went to business school. So we still have, down in my basement, we have all the polysyllabic medical terms she taught herself.
Wow.
Which is a 2-year degree in many places.
Right.
And also it's a lesson because I have an older sister, 4.5 years older,
Rhoda.
And my father always maintained my mother to be the kind of not so smart beauty.
Right.
And he was the
because that
funny
made
looking.
him feel better, or no?
Yeah, when she wanted to go back to work,
Yeah.
my wife is. He had this real stupid,
Right.
male stuff, and belittled her accomplishments. And it was only much later we realized, my God, what she accomplished.
Right.
You know?
It's so sad that it takes that long to figure
What do you mean
shit
takes
out.
that long? It's still going on.
Oh, right.
Too
Death Be
serious?
Not Proud.
Too serious?
Yeah, wasn't that a movie, Death Be Not Proud, too? I remember that was a big book.
Don't
when I was-
remember. We
All right,
read it in
whatever.
high school for
Yeah.
inspiration. Don't you think it's a kind of a backward trend in feminism? I mean, like
Oh,
the losing ground. you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I
And I think you're contributing to it. In a
really yes.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Okay, so you were going to originally study medicine.
No, wait a minute.
No,
Len
fuck, I want
has
to go through your
talk.
life.
I have a question.
I wanted to
Oh,
go.
Leonard,
Len has a
Chi-
question.
You were the quintessential child of the 50s. You lived in the Bronx. I have friends that wanted to know, like, the Yankees. Were you just worshiping the Yankees up there in the Bronx? They were the hit of the town in the 50s.
I lived and died with the Yankees. They won every year. My father took me to Yankee Stadium when I was 5, 1947. So the Philadelphia Athletics and the Yankees. I don't know who won. But
On the cover of your album, you have, like, baseball cards. Were you a baseball card guy?
I was. We used to flip them
Yep.
and shoot them the closest to the wall. It was gambling. And believe me, it broke my heart.
Yeah, but
lose those
now they
tickets.
do it on the fucking phone. Like, you know, those were the days when you figured out how to play.
Is the fucking phone the same as the phone?
Yeah, it's a different. It's
All right,
different.
I'm just checking.
Like
I'm just
the
checking.
phone is on the wall. You know, like that's a landline is a phone.
Because the fucking
and a cell phone is a
could
fucking
be
phone.
a sex toy. Here's the fucking phone. We use that here. That's a sex toy. And this is the phone you actually call on.
It actually is. The fucking phone
Right.
is also a TV. you know?
Right. Yeah. It's too much. It fucks you. It does. All right. So you were gonna go study medicine.
I was. I wanted to be
Was
a
that
doctor.
because of your mother?
No, my parents, to me, that was the most noble profession. And my doctor in the Bronx on Bainbridge Avenue was Dr. Asa Rosenstein. And he could not go to medical school. His grades were incredible. Couldn't get into Columbia, Harvard, all those other ones.
Because of his last name.
Because he was a Jew.
Wow.
So he wound up in Creighton in Nebraska with Indians, and he studied medicine there. By the way, many Jewish scholars who were competent to go to
Right.
medical school went to Germany in the 20s. It's a great... Arthur Miller wrote a play about it called Broken Glass.
Arthur Miller. Listen.
Yes.
You know, I was just with my family, and my aunt, my mother's sister, she's 88. She said that she had her maiden name was Joan Goldberger, and there was another woman, Joan Smith, in her class, and they sent away for brochures and applications to Northwestern. My aunt was the president of her class, and she was, you know, I come from some smart people. Anyway, even though I diluted that. Anyway, the point is that they both sent away and her friend Joan Smith got back an application, the brochure, and my aunt got back, I'm so sorry, we filled our quota for this year.
Oh, my God.
No shit.
Yep. And she said it happened all the time.
Well, my father used to tell me a lot about his experience in America in the 20s and 30s, and going to Niagara Falls with his father and my mother before they had children, and being mistreated by upstaters who knew they were New York Jews. But I myself, in '58, when I went to Alfred University,
Right.
there were 6 fraternities. There was no social life,
Right.
no alcohol within 13 miles of the town. It was a Seventh-day Baptist town. And only the fraternities provided that. And
Right.
4 of them were white Christian only. So I got shut out for a full year. And many of my friends and people got shut out for 4 years. I never forgave them for that.
Wait, so was there a, Jewy whatever fraternity?
Yes, we were non-sectarian, but most of the Jews
Right.
flocked there. We also had the only Asians, the only blacks. And it was an Animal House thing. It was
Right.
a wonderful time.
And you were the smartest people on campus.
Not all. There were morons. too.
Asians and Jews?
Yes, but
But what now?
yes, there's a lot of judges and all that.
Right,
but
right.
The smart thing is that you had to have 2 faculty chaperones for the
Right.
parties. We had a 40-foot bar in the basement. I
Right.
mean, it was unbelievable. And we chose alcoholic faculty members that we knew would safely be on the planet Neptune by 9:30, and there could be some secret stupping. But because
Right.
in those days,
Stopping.
even if you were a senior and had your own apartment, A woman found in your place was grounds for expulsion.
No way.
Serious. That's
And
the way
now
it was.
it's like they just rape
Cohabit.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You rape them and you leave them there, or they pass out and you just walk over them.
I'm sorry, that great quarterback on Tampa is a rapist. The Times followed the story pretty closely. It was never questioned, never this, never that. It's disgusting.
It
really
is disgusting.
Many are.
You then changed your major to drama.
Never.
Is that correct? Or you just went to Yale?
I changed my drama to history, political science.
Okay.
But there was a small drama department, C. Dury Smith and Ronald Brown and Smith, and they were tasty. They had such wonderful taste.
Were they gay?
They were not.
Really?
Yeah. They were both fabulous. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
One really was a great set designer, too. No, he had been a navigator and had a British war bride. He did 26 missions over Germany. Wow. And the other one was a real Ivy Leaguer and children. And anyway, the point is that I went out my sophomore year for the Brothers Karamazov.
Oh, yes.
And from then on, I was in every play. I became the Laurence Olivier of...
Right.
And so they said, my father, they told him junior year, he's very talented and we can get him into the Yale School of Drama. My father said, Yale? You mean Bula Bula, the Ivy League Yale? To be an actor? Did Eddie Cantor go to Yale? He was right, too, because Second City, a year later, where I got $150 a week, didn't have to pay a big...
So did you graduate from Yale School of Drama? Or
No, it was 3 years for a Master of Fine Arts. So I stayed 1 year of graduate school.
Right, and then?
What
I was made you
unemployed.
leave?
I was very dissatisfied. I was itching to work. The old drama coach there, Constance Welch.
Not Jewish.
Had coached, no, Connie Welch was.
Connie Welch.
She had coached Paul Newman, Julie Harris. And I just felt I wasn't getting enough of it. And also Ted Mann, one of the founders of the Circle in the Square Theater, came up, directed me in Pygmalion, and said, get out of here. You come to New York and work. And he encouraged me. The scary thing, it was the first time in my life I would not be in school.
Right. What did your parents think at this point?
I think my father was very disappointed in me.
What was Rhoda doing?
Teaching.
Oh, she was?
Rhoda wanted to be a teacher from the time she was 9 years old, and she became a teacher, and she taught in New York for 33 years.
Wow.
Amazing teacher.
What did she teach?
Grade school.
Oh, I love Rhoda. Where's Rhoda?
Rhoda lives on 21st Street and 3rd.
Oh, my God. We have to have Rhoda on the show.
And she taught in Chelsea, right across on 22nd Street, PS 11.
Right.
The Wayans brothers were in her school. One
Really?
of them, they had many of them. One of them was in her class.
A few of them,
Yeah.
Not all.
Well, there's about
27
40,000
of them.
of them.
300 of them. But
Yeah.
she had about 60 of them.
Yeah.
It was a tough time. President Kennedy was shot in the fall of '63.
What was that like? Like, I was one.
Oh, my God.
Like, what? I mean, look, we're in a state of peril here now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so angry. I mean, whatever. We'll get to that. But what... Did the country come together, or were there... Like, I know now, if Asshole was killed, there would be people going, thank God, and blah, 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 blah. But people had the wherewithal not to say shit like that then. Is that correct? Or were there...
No, the country came very much together. There was certainly a faction against him. Dallas papers were ominous. It was sort of like, they didn't say the Second Amendment people can take care of that. There's a lot of hate against his liberalism and so forth and so on. But no, it was a terrible shock. And you know what? I still can't take jokes about it. I'm a new fan of Family Guy.
I love Family Guy.
I discovered it last year. Allie tried to get me into it a number of years ago.
Oh my God, I watch that with my kids all the time.
I'm crazy about it. I got to write this guy a letter.
It's a great show.
Great show.
Amazing show.
But they had a Kennedy joke the other day. Said, well, there were two. One, boy, that's as lonely as a Kennedy family reunion. And there's one person, oh, they're all dead. Another one where President Kennedy actually gets one right in the head in the smash. I find that a little hard still, and a couple of Anne Frank jokes.
Yeah.
But by and large, I think it's hilarious.
They make fun of black people a lot.
Yeah, they
Go
make fun
pretty
of
much
everyone.
across
They
the
make
board.
fun of a lot of people. Some of it is tasteless.
But you know what?
They can do things we could never do
Right.
because of animation.
That's
and
right.
These
Right,
cutaways.
exactly.
Animation, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I like it. I know that The Simpsons is really a wonderful show. And I met last week. I got an award, in Johnny Carson's hometown.
Yes, that's right.
She's getting ready on the bell. He's not
Yeah.
Jewish, Johnny
I know.
Carson. And the Great American Spaghetti.
It was award.
comedy
Award
thing.
is Jewish. Go ahead.
And
That's true. All right, go ahead.
I forgot what I was talking
No,
about.
you got
The
an
You got an
award.
award.
This guy from
Yeah,
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
The guy
Yeah.
who's been a writer for
30 years.
Matt
Yeah.
Groening.
No,
No,
he's his
another
boss.
guy who was a writer for 30 years on that show. Now he's in New York. He has to go out maybe once a week or once every 10 days now, but he's happy to be back in his hometown. But the animation is not pleasing to me. It's angular, but I just love everything about
Right.
It makes me really laugh. The animation, the jokes.
The jokes are hilarious.
The cutaways, the
Yeah.
idea of doing anything, and also political views.
Yeah, and the handicapped guy or disabled guy,
Yes,
he's fucking hilarious.
Which they play up like
Right.
crazy. But Adam West just died. I did a movie with him.
yeah.
With Burt Reynolds, Hooper. He,
Oh yes, I
yeah.
remember
he
that
played
movie.
the pompous
Yeah.
leading man that Burt is the stuntman double for.
Right, right,
and,
right.
He'd go to a building and they'd say, "Great, Adam," and then they'd mistreat the stuntman. Bring him in.
All right, so you leave Yale School, Johnny. You go to Second City.
I'm home. Well, it was luck. Jimmy Burrows, the famous Jimmy Burrows, my best friend at Yale, the great director, and
I don't think he likes me.
he created. You know
Burrows?
Jimmy?
Well, you know why? Because I did one of his shows, right? So that I was on.
Cheers.
No, it was. It wasn't Ned and Steve.
No, I know
it
what you
was,
mean. Will and Grace.
Caroline in the City.
Oh,
Okay.
Remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he directed it. You mean?
Yeah, and so they're like, you know how they're all bullshit in LA. So I'm doing an episode, and I'm playing her crazy neighbor, shocking. And then their whole week they're like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be a regular, and you're so funny, and blah 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 blah." And I have this really funny scene, and we go to shoot my. You know how it's in front of it's a sitcom audience. They go to shoot my scene. Every other scene they do 3-4 times. They do my scene once, and they're like, "All right, cut, we're done." And I got completely cut. Then no one was talking to me about. Oh, you're going to be on. I can't wait. And it was,
cut out.
yeah.
That happens to us.
No.
in
But
our
it was.
biz.
I don't even know why I was there for the taping because he knew.
Well, he
Whatever.
had a little review in New Haven.
Right,
This
Jim
is before
Burrows.
your time. You used to have in New York upstairs and the downstairs, which is where I met Madeline Kahn in 1966. And also Julius Monk Plaza 9 review at the
Right.
Plaza. 2 guys, 2 gals, tuxedos, Mayor Lindsay, they're
Right.
political over the pianist. So he's doing this, and I have nothing to do. He said, one of my boys dropped out, the 2 boys. I don't have a tux. He said, you wear mine. It came up to my elbow.
Right.
And $35 for the weekend at the Hofbrau House in New Haven, and all the sauerbraten you could eat, and red cabbage. And
You would have done it for that, let's face it.
Yeah.
I would have.
And
$35
fart, that
had nothing
fucking
to do with
place
it.
must have
Allie, I would have
smelled.
done it for that.
I know.
That place must have
A
smelled.
lot of farts.
Yeah.
And anyway, an agent from William Morris came up. Because Abe Burrows, his father, the great Broadway director
Yes.
and writer, wanted to see what his kid is doing. He wants
Right.
to show his agency. And the guy saw us both, Jimmy's direction and my thing. He said, Second City's coming to town looking
Right.
for actors. Long story short, I
You
go
go
up,
and
20 actors
Yeah.
in the William Morris conference room, including, who's that handsome black guy years ago? Billy, he had 2 names. Anyway, Fred Willard and I, total strangers, were asked to do an improv together. We
Right.
got the job.
Yeah, but so you didn't do it at Second City. You did it in the office.
Yeah, I wasn't in Second City
Oh,
yet.
I mean, I thought you
Sheldon
went-
Patinkin
Yeah.
and Bernie Solins, who
Yes.
owned Second City, and
Yes.
Sheldon was the director, was sitting there watching these 20 actors improvise. He called us in. You got
And you
the
didn't
job.
know Fred.
Never met him. Never
That's
met him.
so funny. You're
And
lucky, and he's lucky.
We improvised something because he had a
Right.
partner at the time,
Right.
Willard and Greco. They actually were on the Ed Sullivan Show once.
Really?
Yeah. But Fred was the guts of it, you know.
Yeah. And so you get in.
So we get
and
in
you
Second
start,
City.
Is this 60,
Steinberg was there, 65, March
Yeah,
of 65.
That's what it says that your career started. You know, really.
I had been in summer stock
Right.
professionally, but that's where I say my career started.
Can I ask
52
you
years
something
ago.
before we go
Yeah.
on?
Lenny.
What's your
Bodinsky.
Stop being a Hennessy.
What's your musical background to that point? Did
Yeah,
you?
'cause
you have a
you-
beautiful you have
you're-
a great voice. Did you
you're
play
very
the piano?
musical, yeah.
Did you
Mostly
play the
Gregorian
harmonica?
chants
Yeah,
up to that
Gregorian
time. Yeah,
chant.
mostly Gregorian
Started
chants.
in the
And
Middle
they're
Ages. You know what? My mother and my sister, my father, we had music in our lives. We sang around the piano like an old-fashioned family. They told me I could hum before I could talk. So
Did you play anything? Did you?
I didn't. I played the saxophone in the high school band, and I just didn't follow through. We had a beautiful piano in the house. My mother played. My sister took piano lessons, but I was discouraged from taking them myself because I would hear my sister practicing Felice,
Right.
Yes.
the Beethoven.
La, 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 la.
Shit.
that's me.
God damn it. And I
Sounds
thought
like Judy.
the cursing was part of
Right, it
Beethoven's
is. I
piece.
told you it's been around forever. Yeah. Did you sing when Allie was a baby? Did you sing Gregorian chants to him
Well,
so
no,
he could go to
sang.
sleep?
We sang a lot. We sang. He had me exposed to music very, very, very.
Do you play
early.
anything else?
Yeah, I'm a drummer and I play the guitar and I sing.
He's a terrific drummer.
Wow, drummers are they're I'm
Comedians are-
trying to cut it
You
out.
don't have to cut it.
don't
But drummers are amazing. Like because I was a music major. You know, I studied music in
didn't know
college.
that.
Yeah. And,
Queens College?
no, I went to Rutgers.
Oh, Rutgers.
Rutgers. And the fact that you use every limb at a different, it's just amazing to me. It's incredible.
There's a lot of comics who are drummers. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Great.
lot of
Some good
musicians.
timing.
A
Sid
lot of
Caesar
comics,
was a
yeah.
saxophone player. There's a lot of correlation between
Jack
time
Benny.
and Allie did something interesting. He has a
Penny Youngman.
Listen, there's a plug coming. Allie has a show July 1st at the Metropolitan Room.
Yeah,
And
the old Gotham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
beautiful
love
room.
that. I love that room.
It's
Well,
a
you have to
lovely
come to the
little
show
room.
sometime.
And last
I love
show,
it.
he does it once a month with a bunch of comedians.
What do you do?
Stand up and music and.
He
all kinds
started
of
with a
different
drum solo last time, then it knocked everyone out. He hadn't played in a while, and he used to do a lot of gigs, but now he's concentrating on the comedy. There's a definite correlation between rhythm,
Right. And timing.
And he heard music
timing.
from the start because his mother was in Metropolitan Opera.
I know. Your mother's an opera singer, mezzo soprano.
That's right.
All right. So you
Famous
get
for asking her to close the windows and making funny noises. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Warm ups.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be weird to have friends over when I was a kid and mom's in the other room going, who's that? Oh, it's, I don't know, a bird? I don't know. We have a pet parrot? I don't know.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
So you get in Second City, but then you get Mike Nichols hires you for the Apple Tree.
The very first, I wanted to.
Mike Nichols,
Steinberg,
Holocaust survivor, extra one. Good.
Steinberg and I, no hair too, from the time he was 12. How's that? Yeah. He had alopecia.
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
That's a good one. That's an elephant. Yes, Steinberg and I wanted to. Steinberg was the star there. He was a tremendous improviser. Fred Willard was more patient, but I wanted to get to New York and be a star in this.
Right.
So after 14 months, I got to New York. I did a Ruffles potato chip commercial with
Right.
Judy Grobart, who was my mate there too. And you remember the one, the baby going Ruffles.
Oh yeah.
Look, honey, he's talking. I was the
Right.
husband, she was the wife.
Right.
And the goddamn animator used his own baby for the to get the goddamn residuals.
Unbelievable.
The goddamn baby was the richest kid
Too
in
bad
West
Allie
Side.
wasn't born yet.
Seriously.
Anyway.
So you get in this play, and
the
is that
first
the
Broadway
first time
show,
you met Mike Nichols?
First Broadway show I ever auditioned for, I got.
Wow.
It's the first time I met Mike Nichols, and of course he was an idol of mine
Right.
because he was early seconds. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't Second City yet. It was the well, the name I
Oh,
forgot.
I remember.
name?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't. What was it called?
The
I can't remember, but they
yeah.
started. They were all at University of Chicago. That's
Yeah.
where he met Elaine.
Elaine May.
And that's where
Nichols and
Ed Asner was part of that. And they were there, and then Alan Arkin joined up and all that. And then I was there 4 years after Barbara Harris and Alan Arkin and all that.
God,
And-
there's a
and
lot
that
of
was the
Jews in show
greatest.
business.
And
Yeah.
then I always wanted to do stand-up, and I used to kind of try it out, like introducing a sketch with Fred or David
Right.
Steinberg.
So that was your time alone.
I would
Yeah.
do stuff. And then when Steinberg told me about the Improv on 44th and 9th,
Oh God.
and my Apple Tree was a hit.
Yeah.
And after
Was that your first big review? And
No, I was in the chorus. It was only 10 people in the chorus,
Oh,
but I
right.
was 5 boys, 5 girls.
Right.
And it was anonymous, pretty
Right.
much. But
But
it was
it
a
gave
hit.
you confidence.
I bought a Volvo. I knew I was getting
Right.
200 a week. And then after the show, Jay Norman, this great ballet dancer who was a macho Puerto Rican.
Oh, let's take that back.
This guy was no like, you think of ballet dancers, they have to be gay and all that,
Right.
not necessarily like Eddie Villela and many, but this guy was a judo expert and everything.
Right.
We'd get high together, a little bit of when everyone left the dressing room, and I would carry a tape recorder that weighed 25 pounds,
Right.
a Woolen sack, down the street to the Improv.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I met someone named Joan Rivers. Wow. I got the idea for the recording from her. She was there with Edgar. Did you know Edgar, Judy?
I never met Edgar.
Edgar was sort of a sad.
He was.
He was kind of a homely little guy with big lips and
Yeah.
horn-rimmed glasses. He was a South African Jew.
Yeah, I knew that.
Hit the bell 3 times for that. They're
Yes.
worth about 4 points if you spot One time she walks in with him, and Rodney was up on the floor at the Improv,
Right.
and he goes, "Huh, here they are, a nervous Chayetta with a fraud Englishman for a husband." He committed suicide.
I
and-
know. It's horrible. But do you think they were in love?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I couldn't say. He cared so much about her career and tried to help
I know.
her, and I thought he did. You know what? In Evaluate, I knew her for 40 some odd years.
Right.
She was a great trooper. She was also.
Work ethic.
She also never knew what hit her, which is merciful. But
Right.
she could be pretty mean. I mean, the stroke conversation between Kirk Douglas and Dick Clark,
Right, right.
it's like really cruel. She could be mean.
Right.
Elizabeth Taylor, that kind
But
of
you know,
stuff.
when I believe that she can be mean. I just did a roast.
last
We
night.
did like a roast for Rich Voss last night, and it was all friends. It was like the way the roasts used to be, where everyone knew each other and they were vicious, but it was funny.
It was
But
amazing.
I also feel like when you're treated like shit for your whole life and told shitty things, you tend to go there with other people. And I don't think it comes from a mean place. I think it comes from a vulnerable
You know
place.
what? I have a picture of her from my talk show in
Yeah.
85. When only she had a little nose job. She
Right.
didn't have a. She was a pretty girl.
She was
There
so
that-
pretty!
That, that stuff about
Right.
the last girl and
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. I'm finished with roasts myself.
Yeah.
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They've turned into-
You're shocking.
Where
and
was
everything.
it? Where was
It was at
the stand?
it was
or-
at
Village
Village
Underground.
Underground.
Oh, cool.
But it was just 8 people who all knew Rich for
That's great.
30 something years, and it was
Amazing.
hilarious because no one took offense because it was. I don't know. It was like the old ones. They shouldn't be televised. They shouldn't. I don't know.
You shouldn't have like
Agreed.
hot up and comers who
Right.
have never met them before.
Right,
come
and
in.
then
I mean,
just
that's
say
really-
whatever mean thing,
Yeah, I hate that.
All right, so
Oh, yeah.
what you're so in '65, you're doing this play. Then you go to the Improv. Was Bud
Holy
Friedman
shit!
there?
We're only at 1965.
Yeah, that's why I said you can't fucking leave. But
No,
was Bud
I was at Second City 65, 66. 60,
What was your-
late 66, I go into rehearsal for Apple Tree. We go to Boston. We come back. I do the Improv. And the cast comes to give me moral support. They were great. Alan Alda, Barbara Harris, Larry Blyden, Carmen Alvarez, a few others.
Jeez.
And, a guy comes up to me. This is the honest truth. He's wearing a black suit, maybe a red tie, and he's tugging at it. He goes, "I'll tell you, man. All right. You were fucking brilliant, all right? And I'm a tough cocksucker. And now you have to come here every night for 3 years to get it right.
So that was Joan.
Leonard! Yay,
We gotta get
Leonard!
Len more time. Len, first of all, he has a beautifully timbrous voice.
Yeah,
and
he's
that's
good.
number
I
one.
love
And a beautiful
Leonard.
tan.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
love Leonard.
Years later, they did. David Frost did a "This Is Your Life" special.
Yes.
With the Ralph Edwards. He did too. Charlton Heston and a separate show with Rodney Dangerfield. So I was making a movie in Florida. They surreptitiously flew me on a weekend out to Vegas to surprise him. Whose voice is this, Rodney?
Right.
He said, you were brilliant, and I'm a tough customer,
Yeah.
Bob Klein, Anyway, I did, and I began to go there.
What
and,
was your act like? I mean,
Well, I didn't have an act. What I was a really sharp improviser.
Right.
But now, instead of another actor facing me, I used the improvisational talent in a stand-up way, reacting to whatever. And the thing, I wrote so much material in a short time because they had a lot of steady customers. They'd come every night or 3
comedy
times a
fans.
week.
Yeah.
Improv had a lot of fans, Caesar Passanante, who did a little time, but he was a great guy. And this one and that one. And, it was the kind of place Liza Minnelli would pop up and do a song.
Right.
Jackie Vernon would practice his next Ed Sullivan show with the slides. And this is my family at the beach. And this is the beach without my family. And all that. So I wrote a ton of stuff and said, I couldn't get William Morris, who had signed me when I got Second City, and took $15 a week from my $150 a week,
God.
and we're taking $20 a week from my $200 a week on Broadway. Couldn't
That's
get him to come
$35
down and watch me stand up.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be there. Well, they're not coming down. It's in their own interest.
Right.
So finally, Rodney says, you know what you need? A manager. You need Jack Rollins. I said, the Jack Rollins?
Right.
Of Rollins and Jaffe, Woody Allen,
Right.
Dick Cavett, Joan Rivers, Nichols and May. He was their first. He started Harry Belafonte was his first client.
No.
So he tells them about me, and they agreed to come to see me on Rodney's recommendation.
It took Rodney.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Wow.
Jack respected Rodney.
Right.
He didn't want to manage him.
Right,
but he
right.
respected him. Jack loved the improv.
Why didn't he
Well, he got no respect, so that's
Why didn't he want to manage him?
manage? Yeah, why didn't he want to manage him?
Seems like it would have
Trouble.
lucrative.
He was trouble.
He sensed trouble.
Was this Bud and
he was
Silver?
right.
Were Bud and Silver
Bud and
freed?
Silver on the
and they were
improv.
still married.
Yes, they were. They had a terrible divorce.
Yes, terrible.
And anyway, the chef once came after her with a knife. I think it was an insult to the flank steak or something. It almost involved a murder.
Wait, so who were the other comics that were around besides Rodney and
Prior, Richard was adorable. He was doing the Merv Griffin show at the Little Theater on 44th,
Right.
which was his best incarnation. It was a syndicated show right next to Sardi's, a little theater that became a Broadway. I think it's Helen Hayes or something like that. The Little Theater.
Yeah,
it's
I
called.
love that's the smallest one, yeah.
And he used to go on with collegiate sweaters. Also,
yeah, I remember
Woody
that.
and his second wife,
Mia.
No, you're going way back. Mary Hartman.
Oh yeah, what's her name?
Louise Lasser.
Louise. They used to go on
Love
together.
you,
They were
Leonard.
very funny. They
Right.
were very funny. And Richard would go on and hysterics and
Right.
totally clean and adorable.
Right.
And he was very generous with his information. I would ask him because a talk show was imminent for me. I
Right.
hadn't done any yet. And he was so, I really got into friends with him. And then he smacked his girlfriend on the sidewalk in
Right.
front with a bloody lip. It really turned me off. The next day, he apologized and blah, 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 and everything was cool. Lily Tomlin would occasionally come up from the Duplex.
Yes.
Jackie Vernon, Jackie Mason,
Yeah.
David
Wow.
Fry.
Oh my God.
And David Fry was, like a Napoleonic company. He was about
Right.
5'4". He had I'm serious. He had a gorgeous powder blue Buick convertible and a block on the pedal, unfortunately for him. And you could tell why he would be hostile.
Right.
But he was a bad drunk, and he truly was the impression, one of the virtuosos of all time, because he became Nixon, his face. He became LBJ.
Right.
But he had no personality of his own. He actually had to choose one of his voices to be him. So
do
anyway,
you think most impressionists are like that?
I do.
Fuck.
You do?
I do. You've met impressionists, don't you think that?
Yeah.
Who? Who's doing it today?
Well, I don't want to name any names, but they.
Oh, wait, write it down. Who does impressions?
We'll go after.
Well, the women, Louise Duarte and I don't know, but
all right, was
the night
Carlin
Bobby
around?
Kennedy, not that club.
Where did Carlin work?
You know, George was what Rodney called a rounder. I mean, he quit high school. He got thrown out of Cardinal Hayes or whatever, and he was in show business early.
Right.
First, he was in the Air Force, and he left that. He was a disc jockey in Louisiana.
Right.
I don't know.
Did you guys hang out? Like you didn't hang out at the bar?
No, I hung out with Rodney. I became
Right.
pasted for over a decade to the great Dangerfield, who was just starting, Jack Roy.
At the
I call
Improv.
him Jack.
Right,
44th
Jack
and
Roy.
Ninth.
Yeah.
No one knew who he was. He had done a Merv Griffin. I also saw a very touching rapprochement with his estranged father when the father was dying of throat cancer on the beach of Miami Beach. Keep up that no respecting. It's good. It's good, you know.
Wow.
I was going to tell you this quick anecdote about explaining David Fry. The night Bobby Kennedy was murdered, pretty much a Paul on the joint. He's in the back, and he's sort of like tears, and he's drunk. He said, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm sorry he got shot, but it was one of my best voices. You know?
Oh, wow. That's so comedian. That's so comedian. That's so something we would only say to one
And
another.
the other tragedy at the Improv had occurred long before I went there. I didn't go there until the fall of '66. But Vaughn Meader used to hang out.
Right.
Starting in 65 or 60, because I used to see him a lot. And he was a pathetic character because his Lenny Bruce said so too. The first thing he thought of when Kennedy was assassinated, there goes Vaughn Meader's career.
Right.
Remember, Ellie? He had a First Family album, and it was one trick pony. But I didn't know that when he'd get up and tinkle on the piano and be incoherent, that he was on LSD most of the time. He was a really a destroyed character. So Rodney recommended me to Rollins and Jaffe. And as soon as William Morris agency heard that Rollins and Jaffe
then all of a sudden,
suddenly Lee Stevens, second in command of William Morris, comes with a contingent of people from the Merv Griffin show.
Wow.
It was one of the greatest nights
and
of my
how
life.
long had you been doing stand-up at this point?
And what year is this? Like 70?
About 5 months.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is 1960 what?
I went there in the fall of '66 from Appletree, walking down the street, and Charlie and Jack Rollins came to see me in March of '67, I guess.
Wow. Were there
unbelievable.
shows? Did they go, like I remember when I started in the 80s and I'd hang out with Catch Rising Star and the Improv and stuff, and the shows went till 2 or 3.
Which did not exist, of course.
Right. But the shows would go till 2 or 3 in the morning. Were there fewer comics and therefore the shows weren't that, I mean...
There were singers, too.
How long were your sets?
Well, he let me do anything I wanted if I wanted.
Right.
I think a lot of people grumbled because if I walked in or Bette Midler walked in or Rodney walked in, then he put us right on.
What were you doing? 20, 30, easy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And
amazing.
New stuff. And it was because Bud, who I admire very much, who had a stroke, by the way.
Yes,
after
I know.
He looked so
Horrible.
healthy in that movie.
In the movie, he looks great.
I spoke to him not long ago. His speech is very... second time I spoke to him since he had it, and it sounds worse, but his spirits are... he was arrogant, you know.
Right.
And he realized he was the only game in town, and these comedians were coming. Because it was a Broadway kind of house.
Right.
It was, and the circus tent was strung, and I happen to like New York, and the thing got louder, and then comedians sort of...
Was there a house piano player?
Oh yes,
Who
they
was
were
it?
wonderful. The first was a woman. She was a wonderful. Her last name was Kay, and then Ray Johnson.
Oh.
Ray Johnson, they stole that thing for their routine. You can call me Ray.
Oh, yeah.
You could.
Oh, really?
Ace Trucking Company, right?
Yeah.
And he said, he was a serious guy. He was a wonderful man. He traveled with me for 2 years. He was a black musician from Kentucky, from Louisville.
Right.
And he returned there now. He was wonderful. Bette Midler owes more to him. And one time at Lorraine Boyle's house, she had a Christmas party. I said, Bette, guess who I just had? He came up to New York. I went to dinner with him. Ray Johnson. She said, who? Ray Johnson, your piano player for 2. Oh, yes, how is he? You know, she'd get up there and try and try and try. She'd do things like, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Next night it would be, she'll be coming. She'll be coming round the mountain. She tried it, and then it didn't work. She discarded it, which is the same thing comedian. After a while.
Yeah, you try.
You try and try. And she worked very hard. And she used to, it looked like she wore the costume from Fiddler on the Roof. She was a replacement daughter.
Yes.
You know what Bud told me? When he took her to the baths, to the, because he was managing her.
Right.
And in all fairness, she needed a real manager, not a guy that owned a restaurant.
Right.
You know. But he took her to a Friars Club event, and they laughed at her. They laughed at her. They were like giggling.
In a bad way? Oh.
Because her costume, you know, unadorned and everything. I got to hand it to Barbara Streisand, who I worked with twice and got along with great. She and Bette,
Bell just blew up.
She and Bette, you got to admit, made their own standard of beauty.
Absolutely.
They wound up kissing every great, handsome leading man. And you know, she wore these odd clothes, and
caftans,
you know, and whatever. But you know what? Here's the thing. There was a guy named Caesar Peters, 6'6", incredibly handsome young black man with a basso voice.
Right.
And he used to sing songs from The Nervous Set, a very esoteric, failed musical. College boys are writing sonnets like the horse that never let the pose. Spring can really hang you up the most.
Spring can really.
Or you ever hear the one with, like sing a song of sad young men?
Yes.
He's like elderly gay men or
Right.
something like that. And he started to sing, and people right away paid attention.
Right.
And in 35 seconds, they started talking and ordering more.
Right.
She'd get up and they'd be talking. And in 35 seconds, they tuned in. And that's how you found out who has it and who doesn't.
Right. It's who keeps their attention.
Who keeps their attention?
Yeah.
Also, comedy writers. Then J.K., that really nasty guy, and I can't remember his name, but he got killed drinking a cup of coffee in a coffee shop in Lexington Avenue.
No way.
A cab jumped the thing and killed him.
No way. Who was it?
Yeah, who did he write for? What?
Danny Davis.
Really?
Yeah, he used to write for Vernon.
Can you look that up, please, and do something? Thank
He was
you.
a writer for Jackie Vernon.
Right.
Why are you abusing this young person?
Because that's the point.
That's their dynamic.
I'm a masochist.
It was the most important thing, the improv. It
So
was,
interesting.
And Rodney was like a professor of comedy.
Yeah.
He took you under his wing. He had one of the greatest ever take you
Yeah.
under his wing.
Yeah, but not only that,
Leonard.
you also, but you all, on everything I've read and watched, your influences were Lenny Bruce and Jonathan Winters. So going in you're starting stand-up, and you already got Rollins and Jaffe a year in. So how did you, was that what was in your head when you were working there at the Improv? Like, you've seen those two guys and you were that was how you put together what you were doing?
Look, when I was a kid and I was a lifeguard in the Borscht Belt, and I was a counselor and a busboy, and also when I was a little kid, when my father had a good few years, we went to a cheap hotel in the mountains, and for 6 weeks my mother didn't have to make the bed. I saw live comedy. I saw guys like Larry Deutsch, Bernie Burns, Lou Manchel. Hey, you two bald-headed men in the front row, you put your heads together, you make an ass of yourself. All those boys. And by the way, they stole from each other constantly, which I don't like.
Right.
But I saw live comedy, and I saw how joyful it made people. They forgot their problems with their children or their health or their marriage or whatever. Just, that laughter. I also loved every comedian on television. Everyone. I mean, come on. Fat Jack Leonard or I guess even George Goebel made me laugh. I love people that made people laugh. George Goebel, you hit that for the Jew thing?
Yeah, because you know
Don't you have an Episcopal belt?
Goebbels.
No, Goebbels was the propaganda minister.
What did you get paid? Number one.
I did. I was a lifeguard, and
No. I mean, at the improv, like.
Oh no!
No one got paid.
Oh, no one got paid. No.
And
No one got paid.
I want to know, like.
But it was later on, a few years after I left, I was out working.
Right.
That I began to come and see, and that there were new places like Belzer's play,
right? Catch Rising Star,
Catch,
Belzer.
and Comedy Store, right?
Yes.
And all that,
Mitzi,
and
yeah.
where I went once. I mean,
Comic strip,
and they gave Bud plenty of competition, which was healthy.
Right,
But
even
people
though
I would come back. They said you got to see this guy. So I saw Leno, and I kind of liked him.
Right.
And then I saw the kid who took an overdose.
Belushi.
No, his son Belushi was in a different story. The one who was on "It's Not My Job,"
Freddie Prinze.
Freddie Prinze.
Freddie Prinze. Oh yeah.
That was a tragedy. I mean, he was a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
That guy who Robert, whatever his name, who ran his series, could have stopped the thing and said, "This kid has to get healthy."
Well, ladies, I love you.
Where does this can be heard? Where
This is on Play Dutch Shit.
On
CBS Play Dutch
iTunes.
Shit on iTunes.
JudyGold.com/podcast.
Right.
Facebook.
Allie, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for letting me come.
Please, Robert. Can I do a follow up? And you did a good job as a parent.
He did.
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
He worked for Bobby Kennedy's Waterkeeper for 8 years.
There you go.
Nonprofit. Wow. He put in a lot of work and a pretty futile effort.
Yeah.
But he decided to do this, and I'm all for it.
And you're the best.
He's talented.
I love
Why
you.
would anyone want to follow in his footsteps?
I know.
Anyway, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. So long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.